Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the video. So if you missed the last episode, just to recap here, we continued our conversations with hacker Olivia and Kevin, and then I actually called Kevin on the phone and we were talking back and forth, and then we suddenly got disconnected out of nowhere. Then hacker Olivia agreed to send my Bitcoin for $74 US. So I went to CVS and I purchased a $75 vanilla Visa gift card, and I sent her a photo of the front and back of the gift card. Here's how all of this ended. Alright guys, so as promised here, I've got my friend Vitaly. He's a practicing attorney, and I kind of want to have a conversation here about these scams. And I think you guys know what it is that I'm doing, but I'll just catch you up a little bit here. But basically what I'm going to try to do is actually reach out to some of these people online that it looks like they're scamming people. I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but they'll leave comments and they'll say that so-and-so helped them invest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and they got them this great return. Or you'll see a lot of them relating to like Forex, binary options, things like that. It seems like a lot of people claiming to like invest money on your behalf, or there's a lot around credit score too. Like we can help you eliminate credit card debt. Right. This hacker can hack your credit score. So what are your thoughts about that as far as these online scams go?
I mean, just generally, I think you have to be very careful with what you're doing out there. A lot of people, especially older people who are not tech savvy, are falling prey to these types of scams. And I'm sure some products and companies could be legitimate and they're actually offering you, real service, but you really have to be careful. Before you send any money to anybody, I think you really need to know who you're dealing with. And a lot of times, these will be people from, foreign countries, my home country of Russia. You got a lot of guys out there in their basements looking for ways to, scam people out of money. So I definitely think that before you do anything with that, you should really research who you're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think too, like there are legitimate things like this out there, like legitimate, Forex brokers and things like that. But like, I would also think about too, like if you're finding out about it through the comment section of a YouTube video or through some random Facebook group, like that's already kind of
sketchy.
Sketchy. Yeah, so I know we were talking earlier before, you were telling me about how one of your tenants was involved in a scam. Yeah. So I actually shared earlier in this video here about time I got scammed with domain appraisal. So it was somebody who was claiming they were going to buy a domain from me. Okay. And they said, oh, we just need to get it appraised for a certain value. So I sent them like $150 for this appraisal. And then I realized there was no buyer on the other end. But I'd love to hear your story about your tenant, because that's more examples of like what these scams actually look like. Right.
Yeah. So if any of you guys have seen me on YouTube, I do real estate videos. I invest in real estate. I'm also an attorney, as Ryan mentioned. But
I'll also put his links down in the description. I'll put a card up in the corner too for anybody who wants to learn more about him and check out his channel.
Yeah. So we had a new tenant move into one of my buildings in March of this year, 2019, and she did the usual. She paid the first month's rent, security deposit, so everything was good, everything was going fine. And then April came around, and rent is due on the 1st of the month. So like the 5th of the month, I still don't see it in the bank account. We gave her a couple of different options for how to pay. So I just reached out to her through text and I said, hey, we haven't gotten your rent. Kind of where did things stand? And she says, oh, I paid it. And I talked to your business partner in text and he told me how to pay for rent. And I said, oh, you did? And she's like, yeah, I sent money through Western Union. And I thought, okay, well that's weird. So I reached out to my business partner and I said, did you talk to her? And he says, no, I've never talked to her. I don't even know how to use Western Union. And so I'm like, all right, so either this tenant is lying to me, which is not uncommon. So that was my first thought. She's probably lying. This
just giving you the runaround or something?
This is just one of those.
Buy some time to maybe get the money together?
Exactly. Or just say I paid and it's not my fault. That's something like that. So I went back to her and I said, hey, my business partner never talked to you, he says. And what number did you use? Who did you talk to? And she sends me the number that she was texting with, and the number just happened to be 1 digit off from my business partner's phone number, actual phone number.
Really?
So then I thought, okay, maybe there's more to it. So I said, okay, do you have a confirmation? Usually Western Union gives you a confirmation number for your transaction, your transfer. So she gives me that. And then I go on Western Union and I plug the number in, and lo and behold, she actually did transfer money to somebody in New Jersey who went and picked it up already.
So basically she was trying to text your business partner, and when she was putting the numbers in her phone, she missed one of the digits and actually got someone on the other end.
Who happened to be a scammer.
Who happened to be a scammer?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. But so I actually went, I tried to help her out. And this kind of goes to the point of what we're talking about. I said, let me reach out to a buddy of mine from law school who was a district attorney in the county where she lives. So I did that. I talked to him. It was $700, so it wasn't a ton of money, but it's a lot of money to somebody like her, obviously, So my buddy said, I'll look into it, and that some time passed, and he got back to me and he said, the detectives didn't really, couldn't really get very far with it. It's out of state, cross state lines. It's only $700. We have other priorities, basically, and sorry. And that kind of comes back to what happens if you do get scammed today. And unless it's a large amount of money, and unless it's somebody who scammed a lot of different people, the authorities are not likely to really go after them.
Right, yeah, and actually you even helped me earlier this year. I don't know if you'd call this, it's kind of a scam. Those people with the couch I was looking at, obviously there was some things that I did in that were wrong. Basically, just to fill you guys in on that, I was looking to buy a couch earlier this year. I went and took a look at it, gave them a cash deposit, which was way too large based on how much the actual couch was gonna cost. Gave them a $500 cash deposit. And then after I gave them that deposit, basically it came out that they had lied about the measurements and the dimensions of the couch. Now, was that deliberate? Was it not? I'm not sure. But as it turned out, I said, this couch isn't going to fit in my room. I need my deposit back. And they basically said, no, we're not giving you back your deposit. Now, because Vitali's my friend, he was able to help me out there for free. So you wrote a quick letter for me and sent it, and you were able to get
him straight.
Get my money back, which was awesome. But I remember after that happened, I kind of felt bad because I'm like, you know what? Like, this type of thing happens all the time. And unless you have a friend, I don't know, what's the going rate for an attorney if I were to try to hire someone to represent me for this?
Well, so it depends on, how big your city is, the market that you're in terms of legal services. But, if you're in New York City, you could be paying $1,000 an hour for an attorney.
Wow.
If you're, in our area, upstate New York, it's a lot less, but you're still looking probably a couple of $100 per hour to do the work.
So it's like if you are out $700, like the case of your tenant, it's not even cost effective to hire someone to represent you.
No, and hopefully we're not giving a blueprint for people to start scamming people.
Right,
but
yeah.
Unless it's a large enough amount, most likely, or unless you're easily discoverable as the scammer, if you know who they are, they're likely not going to be prosecuted or going to see any real consequences, which is sad.
So I'm thinking best case scenario, you and your scammer live in the same state.
Yep.
Maybe even the same area. That way you have a better chance of figuring out who they are and building a case here. Maybe not such a good scenario is you guys are in different states. And then worst case scenario, different countries. So I personally have a feeling that the people I'm going to be dealing with are going to be from, India, Russia, who knows, China, other countries. So let's say I go down, and I think I'm going to go down the road of actually sending these people a small sum of money. What are my options? Am I pretty much just, kissing that money goodbye?
Most likely you are. There are a couple of different options, though. Once you've realize that it was a scam, or that it's a scam, you can go, or even suspect that it's a scam, you can go to the Federal Trade Commission. You can go right on their website. They have complaint forms that you can fill out and submit a complaint. There are also, the United States Department of Justice. You can also go to your Attorney General's office in your state, although they'll probably say it's out of our jurisdiction because it's cross state lines. But they sometimes work together with the federal government to try to bring, these scammers to justice. One example I'll give you actually is out of India. I think 2016 is when the prosecution occurred, but there was a huge ring of scammers that some of them were here in the United States and some were in India. And what they were doing is they were calling people pretending to be IRS and saying that the taxpayer, you owe us money and you're going to go to jail unless you send money to us. And they were basically getting people to either send money by wire or gift cards, like Visa gift cards and things like that. And they defrauded people of millions of dollars. I think over 30 million over the course of 4 years.
Full call center operating there?
The entire ring. And what they were doing is they were actually cashing the money, like the cards and everything, in United States. They had legitimate businesses here that they were laundering money through. So they had like runners, they called them. And they would go out, once someone sent the money in, they'd go out, pick it up, and then they put it through their business to make the money legitimate.
Wow.
Because they were circulating so much of it that they had to do something like that. So the Department of Justice got involved, the Indian government got involved, people got arrested over there, people got arrested here, and they actually, I think they might have extradited a few of them, but they brought, I think, like 26 of them to justice here in the United States. And they've all got max sentences. I think they got like 20 years.
But that's obviously, it's got to be happening on a large enough scale.
That's it, yeah.
And the other thing you were telling me too that was really interesting is, I know there's a legal term for it, but some countries cooperate with each other, but some don't, right?
That's right, yeah. So the legal term is an extradition treaty.
Okay.
So countries that have a treaty like that with the United States, you may be able to get a scammer who's arrested there for a crime that they committed in the United States against a United States citizen brought here. But there are only a few of those countries. Most countries either do not have a treaty with us, or they have, they call them diplomatic relations, where it's more of a case-by-case situation. So, they'd usually be, through diplomacy, you'd have the ambassadors talking to each other and you figuring out some kind of a deal. And it would have to be a high-profile case. Like, it's not going to be, $700.
Yeah, your $700 that you sent to some, it's going to have to be millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands.
Thousands, it has to be significant enough, or they had to have defrauded enough people of $500 each, let's say, that for that to be a significant enough thing to go after.
I think it's just interesting too. I mean, I feel like these types of things, even so, we're talking on the scale of in India or whatever, these other countries scamming us. But like, just for example, my cameraman here, Rob, this was kind of an interesting story. Him and his the guy he was living with, they moved out of their apartment they were occupying. Their landlord tried to hold their security deposit by saying, "You guys destroyed the driveway," even though it was a shared driveway because they lived in the front property and he lived in the back. So he kind of was just making this thing up, saying, "Oh, you had too many cars back and forth on the driveway. You destroyed the driveway. I'm holding your deposit." And they ended up, because Rob has a friend who was able to help them, pro bono or whatever, they went and took it to small claims court and got their deposit back. But I feel like there's a lot of that going on too, of like somebody just strong-arming somebody or just assuming, they're not going to do anything about it. I'll just hold on to their money.
And that happens a lot too. With the example of landlord-tenant law, tenants have a lot more protections in New York State than other types of breach of contract situations. So like your couch situation, you're likely out that money unless you have somebody like me who can just write a letter and help you out. If you're a tenant in New York, you could do this pro bono. A lot of tenants can actually, if there's a dispute over whether it's rent or whether it's a security deposit, there's definitely ways that tenants can try to recover their money. And it's designed that way, especially with the recent changes to New York State law, landlord-tenant law, which, by the way, I did a video on this back in July, so check that out on my channel. But with the changes that went into effect, landlords are held responsible for a lot more than they used to be. And obviously I'm on the other side of this. I'm a landlord, so to me, I thought the law was a little bit more strong-handed. But I could see situations where there are legitimate disputes and tenants are in the right, and they have the benefit of the laws in New York. So in New York, I think tenants are more protected for situations like that, where it's whether it's a security deposit or some other dispute relating to their rental.
Gotcha. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to be, I believe, sending money overseas, and so from what I'm gathering here, it's basically like I've got no chance of seeing that money, other than I can maybe report it to the FTC. But unless there's massive volume of reporting, then these scams just go unpunished.
Pretty much. It's the two things here. One is identifying the scammer, who they are.
They're using probably VoIP communication, and even when I'm communicating with them, I'm personally using a VPN just to be careful, but it's like they're probably doing the same thing.
So first thing is to identify them if you can. Once you've identified them, is there jurisdiction to bring any kind of legal action against them where they're at? And most of the time there isn't.
All right, so I've got one final question for you. Personally, between you and me, I'm going to be sending money to somebody over the internet, overseas. Is this a good idea? You think it's a good idea?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you should. That's my opinion.
I think I'm going to do it anyway, but you heard it here. Not something you should be doing.
As your attorney, I'm advising you not to.
Okay.
But you can make that judgment.
All right, guys, so thanks so much for coming on, Vitaly. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I've got his channel down in the description. You don't talk so much about legal topics, but you talk more about real estate investing. Right. Your channel is Succeed, REI. Yep. And that's going to be down below. But yeah, I appreciate your time on this Sunday, man. And hopefully we don't have any more, scams to talk about. Yeah. And I guess I won't be able to get you to send a letter over to these people in India.
Good luck.
Wherever they are.
Yeah.
So
good luck with it.
All right, thank you. We just hit up somebody else here who said he's going to help me start making money. He is a philanthropist, and he said he can make us at least $5,000. I asked him if we can talk about it on the phone. His name is Eric, and he said he's going to give me a call right now. Because I forgot with Google Voice, they can't call us. That was the issue. Oh, he did just call me. Hold on a second. Let me call him back. He just called. Oh, I have to do it through, oh. I almost made a mistake there. I almost called him through your regular phone. All right, are you ready?
Hello, Jim.
Hey, hello, is this Eric?
Hello, Jim. I think.
Oh, I'm good. I'm just looking to learn some more about some of these new ways of making some money. Like I said, short on rent this month, and the kind of at the end of my rope here, as you say,
All right, Jim. I'm gonna help you out. Okay. Just this is my inspection done. This is where I would ask you to do some details desk.
I didn't quite get that. Do you mind repeating yourself, Eric?
Yeah, I said, do you know about Bitcoin?
Oh, Bitcoin. Yeah, I've seen a little bit about it on the news. I know that it's like the digital crypto, right?
Yeah. Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but I've seen it, and it seems like a kind of a cool thing. I'd like to love to be involved.
And then how much do you have to right now to start with?
So let's see. I mean, if I really scrape it all together right now, I've got about $700, but that's literally all I got, man. Beyond that, I'll be on the street.
How much you got?
How much what now?
Yeah. Just tell me how much you have right now. Tell me.
How much money? I got $700, man.
$700.
$700. Yeah, that's every penny I got, man.
Okay. Do you have any store around you?
I got some stores by me. Yeah, I live in Houston, so I'm in a pretty populated area. So what do I need to do here? I'm ready to get started.
You got Cash App or paper?
Oh, I have. I've heard of Cash App. I can do Cash App. Yeah.
How much do you send here? You have.
I could start. I could send you. Like I said, I've got $700. It's a stretch, but I could probably send you $100. But I mean, I got to get some of that back. I mean, like I said, if I don't get, I will literally have no home if I send you that money.
I'm gonna post you. Gonna get $400. Do you have $400?
$400.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Mute. Are you there? Man, I don't think I want to go any deeper with this guy. He's basically asking me I think where this is going is he wants me to Western Union, go to a store, Western Union some money. He wants me to send him, I think, $400. And that's where you know that these people really do not care, because I literally was telling him that if I give him that money, I will be out of my house because I've got to pay rent. Like, I made it as clear as possible, I think, that like, I need this money. If you take this money, I will literally be out of a house. He didn't seem to care. So I don't think these people have any sense of remorse. So basically, he said, all right, Jim, send me your Cash App details. And then I don't even know where to go from here. I think this may be the end of the scam. At this point, if I send him those details, that's where I'm going to send the money to you. So he's going to want me to send him the money, or he's going to get into my Cash App and take the money. So I think this is the end of the road for this scam. I don't know. Do you see anything else we could ask here, or where we could go with this? Yeah, this is pretty much what happens. Is you get on the phone with them, and we'll check back, and I'll update you if we do hear back from the woman that we sent the $75 to, but I honestly don't expect to hear back from them, and I think this is pretty much what they do. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and block these guys that we just talked to here, and I think that is pretty much all the time I want to spend on the phone with these guys, because it's not comfortable. Like, it's just weird knowing that this is somebody that literally all day, this is what they're doing. You know, they get up in the morning, they sit down at their desk, they jump on their you know, phone, and like, this is what they do all day, is they scam people, and it's just crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and block these numbers, and then we'll update you if we hear back from Hacker Olivia regarding our $75 Bitcoin. All right, so 1 week has gone by since we sent out this money to this online scammer, and boy, have things heated up in a serious way. Not really, but we have had some dialogue back and forth, which is quite interesting. And the other thing I've noticed too, every couple of days I would check this chat that I had going on here, and I started getting random texts and calls from other people, just random numbers. So I think what actually happens here is, once you are communicating with one of these scammers, they're gonna give your number out to other people. Or maybe it's even the same person contacting you with all these different numbers, but I kept getting these messages like, hello, how are you, hello, and these random missed calls. So where things left off on Sunday night last week, the woman there, Kathy, was that her name? I don't even remember what her name was. Olivia, it was Olivia, okay. Hacker Olivia, where she left off with me, she was gonna get back to me, and I decided to try to appeal to her more sensitive side. I said, thank you so much for helping me. Maybe my kids will get a Christmas this year after all, God bless. And she responded and said, the pleasure is all mine. This was last week on Sunday. So then she followed up and said, hello, good morning, sir. How was your night? Question mark, question mark. To which I didn't respond. And then 2 hours later, are you there with 2 question marks? So that evening, I responded and I said, I am, yes. What is the next step? And then I said, my night was good, and yours, question mark? Oh, did we just lose power? Well, that's okay, that's still rolling, right? Dude, I hope it's not Hacker Olivia. Okay, so at that point, I said, my night was good, and yours. I barely slept, I was so excited. And we're back on. So then she said, that cool. You need to pay for the software, sir, which will cost you $150. Before we can mail anything to you today. So that was my prediction from the beginning, was that this $75 was just the tripwire to see if I was actually going to send her money. And then she was going to continue to request more and more money. To which I responded, what are you talking about? You said it was $75. I gotta go, I will talk to you tomorrow, not happy. So she responded and said, why are you not happy? You need to do this so I can mail it to you today. Again, we're talking about mailing Bitcoin, which is clearly a digital currency which you can't mail unless she was gonna send it to me on a paper wallet, which we know that that's not true. Then she says, hello, are you there, with 2 question marks. And I responded and I said, I don't have any other money to invest. I'm gonna have to ask you for the $75 back, please. I can't even afford rent this month. And then she responded and said, seems, as in S-E-A-M-S, like the seam of a shirt. Seems you aren't getting me, sir. This miner is a software and hardware work combination. The miner is installed onto a blockchain wallet through its specifically designed software. You get to earn 20 to 50% of your initial investment weekly, depending on amount invested. And then she sent a longer explanation of this software. So please, I want you to know that you're not doing me a favor, not in all caps. So I didn't do her a favor by sending her $75 for no reason. I've already invested a lot of money in Bitcoin and I don't ever regret it to this day. I invested. Forecasts predict according to crypto analysis and forecasts experts. Bitcoin will keep going up and the value will increase over the years. Right now, 1 BTC equals 63.86. In 2020, 1 Bitcoin equals plus or minus 20,000. You can review the Bitcoin value chart and see yourself, my friend. So we're back to being friends now. I'm giving you the chance to make more money than you already make. The power to live your dreams. I'm selling you the future of currency, and you will make a huge mistake if you don't invest now. According to forecasts, now is the best time to invest. So then I don't respond. And then she hits me with the good morning text. So to that one, I respond and I say, I would like a refund. Can you mail me a check? ? That was money for my Christmas presents for my son. So then she responds and says, you are supposed to have received your funds, sir, but you not here. Are you really busy? ? And then again on Thursday responds with hello. So I sent one final message and I said, so you will not give me a refund? ? That makes you a scammer, right? ? And that is where we left things off here. So what I believe has happened here is she used that initial $75 to see if I was dumb enough to send her money. And then she hit me with the $150. And I can almost guarantee you guys, if I sent her that $150, then she would hit me up and say, oh, we gotta spend an additional $300 on shipping or whatever. And so she would just continue having me send her more and more money. So I believe this is what we would have going on there. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. And this is kind of similar to, like, let's say you're driving an old beat up car and you just brought it to the mechanic and you put $1,000 of work into that car. And then a week later, you find out that that car needs more work. Well, even if it's no longer a wise decision to keep fixing that car, because of the sunk cost involved with that, because you've already fixed it up, you're more likely to continue sinking more money into it because you feel like, oh, I've already put so much money into this car, what's another $100 or what's another $300? So I believe the same thing would happen here, where if you were involved in a scam like this and you sent Hacker Olivia $75 and then you follow up and you send her $150, if you continue doing this, you might eventually say, you know what, I've already sent her so much money, I'm already so deep in this rabbit hole, what's another $75, what's another $100? So I believe that is what happens with people. And it also happens with gambling too. Because you've spent so much gambling, you're like, you know what, what's another $100? It really doesn't make a difference, even though it's still just as bad of a waste of your money. So I think that's pretty much where this scam comes to a close here. Obviously, I'm not gonna send her any more money, and I'm out to 75 bucks. And so, yeah, this is what happens when you send people money online, when you get involved with scams like this. And I'm hoping that having shown you guys this, you can better identify when these scams are happening to you. And we have to remember too that they tend to prey on the elderly, especially with scams like this, with telephone scams. Even my own family members have been involved in scams like this. So you may think that it's not happening to people in real life, but it honestly is. So I guess the major takeaway here is, maybe share this video with some friends for entertainment value, or share it with people just from an informative basis so they can see what these scams actually look like. And maybe we should all just keep a better eye out on, especially older people in our lives who may be susceptible to scams like this. But that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you stuck around to the very end, drop me a comment down below and let me know. I'm always curious who actually watched the entire video, and I certainly appreciate you guys for that. But thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.